I forced my son to give me half of his income. My kid Jake is 17 and has been working at this local pizza place called Tony's for about 8 months now. Kid makes decent money for a teenager, like $14 an hour plus tips, working maybe 20 hours a week. So he's pulling in around $400 every 2 weeks, which is pretty good for someone who doesn't pay rent, buy groceries, or handle any real bills. Here's where it gets interesting. About 3 months ago, Jake comes home acting all secretive about his paycheck. Usually, he'd show me his stub, and we'd talk about maybe putting some in savings, but suddenly he's being weird about it. Then, I noticed he's got new stuff constantly. Expensive headphones, fancy shoes, eating out with friends every single day. I'm talking like $60 dinners at steakhouses with his buddies. So, I sit him down and ask what's up with his spending. Kid looks me dead in the eye and says it's his money and he can do whatever he wants with it. Fair enough, right? Except then, I find out what he's actually been doing with it. Turns out my brilliant son has been lending money to his friends. Not like $20 here and there. I'm talking hundreds of dollars to kids who have zero intention of paying him back. His friend Connor borrowed $300 for some gaming setup. His girlfriend Mia needed $200 for concert tickets. Another kid named Austin got $150 for car repairs. When I asked Jake when they were planning to pay him back, he just shrugged and said, "Whenever they can. These kids don't even have jobs." Connor's parents buy him everything. Mia gets an allowance, and Austin spends his weekends playing video games in his basement. That's when I realized my son was basically funding his entire friend group's lifestyle and calling it being generous. In reality, he was being taken advantage of by a bunch of kids who saw him as their personal ATM. So, I made a rule. From now on, he gives me half of every paycheck. And I put it directly into a savings account that he can't touch until he's 18. The other half he can spend however he wants. But at least I know half his money isn't going down the drain. Jake lost his mind, started screaming about how it's his money and I'm stealing from him. His friends started giving me dirty looks when they'd come over, probably because their free money train got derailed. His girlfriend even had the nerve to tell me I was being unfair to Jake. But here's the thing. Within 2 weeks, Jake's friends suddenly weren't hanging around as much. Connor stopped texting every day, asking to hang out. Mia found other people to go to concerts with. Austin mysteriously got really busy whenever Jake wanted to do anything that cost money. Jake was devastated at first. Kept asking me why his friends were acting different. I didn't have the heart to tell him it was because he wasn't paying for everything anymore. So I just said, "Sometimes friendships change in high school." Then something interesting happened. Jake started hanging out with this kid Ben from his chemistry class. Ben's got a part-time job too, at the grocery store. And they started doing cheap stuff together, hiking, playing basketball at the park, having movie nights at our house with microwave popcorn. About a month after I started taking half his paycheck, Jake comes up to me while I'm making dinner and says, "Thanks for making me save that money, Mom. I would have spent all of it on people who didn't actually care about me." Turns out Jake had figured it out on his own. He realized his old friends only wanted him around when he was buying dinner or lending money they'd never pay back. Now he's got actual friends who hang out with him because they like him, not because he's got a steady income. Story 2. My girlfriend posted, "Why do broke men even try dating?" After I said I couldn't afford her $500 dinner choice, I didn't argue. I just Venmo requested her for every date, meal, and movie I'd paid for over 8 months, $60,400 total. When her friends saw the public request, original post, I, 26 male, have been dating Madison 24 for 8 months. Met her through a dating app. Hit it off immediately. She worked as a social media consultant, which basically meant she helped small businesses set up Instagram accounts for like $200 a pop. Not knocking the hustle, but important context for later. From day one, I paid for everything. Not because she asked initially, but because I was raised that way and genuinely enjoyed treating her. Coffee dates, dinners, movies, weekend trips, concerts, all on me. She'd do this thing where she'd reach for her purse. Then I'd say, "I got it." And she'd smile and say, "You're the best." Every single time. I work in IT support, make decent money, about $72 a year, not rich but comfortable. Could afford to date and save a bit each month. Madison lived with roommates in a nice area, Always had designer bags, latest iPhone. I assumed she was doing well with her business. Last Tuesday, she texted me about this new restaurant opening. Some celebrity chef place. Super exclusive. She'd been posting about wanting to go for weeks. I looked at the menu online. Appetizer started at $60, entree at $150. The tasting menu she wanted? $500 per person, not including drinks. Me, babe. That's a bit out of my budget right now. Maybe we can go somewhere else nice. Seriously, it's just dinner. It's $1,000 for one meal. That's my entire entertainment budget for 2 months. Wow. I didn't realize you were struggling financially. Me? I'm not struggling. I just can't drop $1,000 on dinner randomly. My ex would have made it happen. This is embarrassing. Then radio silence for 3 hours. I'm at work thinking we're having our first real fight over some overpriced food. Then I see it. She posted on her Instagram story, "Why do broke men even try dating?" Like, sir, if you can't afford to treat a woman properly, just stay home and level up first. This is embarrassing. She didn't tag me, but her friends knew who she was dating. The comments started rolling in on her actual post. Period. Know your worth, queen. Men really out here wanting girlfriends on a McDonald's budget? This is why I have a 3-date rule. If he doesn't spend at least $200 on the first date, next I sat at my desk staring at my phone. 8 months of paying for everything, never complaining. And this is what she thinks of me. I'm broke because I won't blow $1,000 on dinner. I didn't text her. Didn't call. Instead, I opened my banking app and started scrolling through 8 months of statements. Every dinner, every movie, every coffee, every weekend trip, I screenshotted everything. Then I opened my notes app and started calculating. It took me 2 hours. 2 hours of adding up every single thing I'd paid for. The total, 6,127. That's when I decided no arguments, no emotional texts, just pure simple accountability. I opened Venmo, set it to public, and sent her a request for $6,127. In the description, I wrote, 8 months of dates, dinners, movies, and trips. Since I'm too broke to date properly, here's your half of our relationship expenses. Thanks for clarifying my financial situation. Then I went back to work. Update 1. 2 days later, the aftermath was immediate and spectacular. Within 30 minutes, her best friend Kelsey called me. I didn't answer. Then Brittany, another friend. Then Ashley, then Madison herself. 14 times in a row. I let them all go to voicemail. The text started flooding in. Madison, what the hell is wrong with you? Take it down now. This is psychotic behavior. You're really doing this over one dinner. Everyone can see this. Answer your phone. I didn't respond to any of them, but I was watching the Venmo comments roll in. See, when you make a Venmo request public, people can comment. And boy, did they comment. My buddy James, 8 months bro, was funding a whole relationship solo. My coworker Dennis, this man kept receipts. Respect. Random stranger, not the itemized relationship invoice. But then, Madison's friend started damage control. Kelsey, this is abusive behavior. Making this public is financial abuse. Ashley, small dick energy for real. A real man wouldn't keep track. Brittany, imagine being this petty over your girlfriend wanting nice things. That's when something interesting happened. Other people, strangers, started responding to them. Financial abuse is making someone pay for everything, then calling them broke publicly. So, he's supposed to go bankrupt for her Instagram photos. $6,400 in 8 months. That's literally a used car. The request had over 300 likes within 2 hours. Someone screenshotted it and posted it on Twitter. It started going mini viral. Madison showed up at my apartment that evening. I saw her through my Ring doorbell, standing there in the designer coat I'd bought her for her birthday, holding the Michael Kors bag I'd gotten her for our 6-month anniversary. I didn't answer. Madison, I know you're home. Your car is here. Hey, Madison. Did you come to pay the Venmo request? Open the door. We need to talk about what? How broke I am. I was just venting. You know I didn't mean it. Me? You meant it enough to post it publicly and let your friends trash me. Madison, down the Venmo request and we can talk. Pay the request and we can talk. She stood there for another 10 minutes, alternating between crying and yelling. My neighbor came out to check what was happening. Madison told her I was being abusive by not letting her in. My neighbor, bless her heart, said, "Honey, he doesn't have to let you in his home." That's not abuse. That's boundaries. Madison left after that. That night, she tried a different approach. She posted a Notes app screenshot on her story. Since someone wants to be petty and count pennies, here's the truth. I've given this man emotional labor for 8 months. Listened to him complain about work every day. Helped him pick outfits. Spent my time making him look good in front of his friends. Decorated his boring apartment. Taught him about wine. Elevated his whole life. But sure, let's talk about dinner money. Some of y'all really don't understand that a woman's presence is the prize. The audacity to request money from me, like I'm some random person and not someone who upgraded his entire existence. This is why I'm done dating broke and cheap men. I screenshotted that too. Then I did something petty. I'll admit it. I posted my own story, just one photo, a screenshot of her LinkedIn, where she listed her income as entrepreneur, social media consultant with her actual business website. The website that showed she'd had exactly 3 clients in the past year. The math wasn't hard to do. Caption: interesting definition of upgrading my existence from someone who made less than $3 last year, but owns 10 worth of designer goods. Math isn't mathing. Anyway, still waiting on that Venmo payment for the lifestyle I apparently couldn't afford to provide. My phone exploded. Update 2. 1 week later, the social media war escalated quickly. Madison's friends created a whole narrative about me being an abusive narcissist who financially manipulated a young woman. They started a hashtag financial abuse is real. I mostly stayed quiet, but the receipts spoke for themselves. My friends, God bless them, started pulling their own receipts. James posted a screenshot of Madison's story from 2 months ago, where she was bragging about never having to pay for anything, because I'm just that girl. Dennis found her TikTok, where she literally had a video titled, How to Get Him to Pay for Everything Without Asking, with tips like always forget your wallet and mention something you want, and wait if he doesn't. Offer to buy it. He's not the one. But here's where it gets interesting. Madison's roommate Taylor reached out to me privately. Taylor, hey, I know we don't really know each other, but I thought you should know some things. Madison hasn't paid her rent in 2 months. She owes me and our other roommate like $3,200 total. She keeps saying her business is about to take off. Now I see where her money was actually coming from. I'm sorry this happened to you. Wait, she hasn't paid rent? Nope. But she somehow afforded a $2 bag last month. We were about to have to kick her out. She's been using your money to keep up appearances while screwing over everyone else. I asked Taylor if she'd be willing to go on record. She said, absolutely. Meanwhile, Madison's damage control continued. She went on her friend's podcast. Yes, her friend had a podcast with 12 listeners to tell her side. Some highlights. I was controlling because I kept track of everything. The Venmo request was financial violence. She never asked for anything I offered. Her social media post was taken out of context. She was traumatized by my public humiliation. The podcast had maybe 100 downloads initially, but someone shared it on Reddit, and it blew up for all the wrong reasons. The comments were brutal, so she's mad he kept receipts after she publicly called him broke. Financial violence girl, you mean accountability? She never asked, but also posted a tutorial on making men pay for everything. Then came the nuclear option for Madison. She contacted my employer. I got called into HR on a Wednesday morning. My stomach dropped. But plot twist. The HR manager, Patricia, was actually laughing. Patricia, so we received a complaint about you engaging in harassment and financial abuse on social media. I'm required to investigate, but I've seen the posts. Is this seriously about a Venmo request for shared expenses? I showed her everything. The original Broke Men post, the receipts, the messages, all of it. Patricia, this is the most ridiculous complaint I've ever seen. You're fine, but maybe keep the drama off work hours. Fair enough. But Madison wasn't done. She threatened legal action. She actually had someone she claimed was a lawyer send me a cease and desist letter via email. It demanded I remove the Venmo request and pay her $5,000 for emotional distress and defamation. I forwarded it to my cousin, who's an actual lawyer. He laughed for 5 solid minutes on the phone. This isn't even on legal letterhead. It's a Gmail address. This is her friend pretending to be a lawyer. Also, truth is an absolute defense against defamation and emotional distress. She started this publicly. Keep everything documented. So, I posted the cease and desist on my story with the caption. Now I'm getting fake legal threats via Gmail. The entitlement is truly endless. Still waiting on that Venmo payment. Though, the fake lawyer email account was deleted within hours. Update 3 2 weeks later. Final. The conclusion came from an unexpected place. Madison's ex-boyfriend reached out to me. Let's call him Marcus. Turns out he'd been watching this whole thing unfold with great interest. Marcus, bro, I've been waiting 2 years for someone else to see through her BS. Can we talk? We met for beers. Marcus came with receipts. Literal printed receipts. Turns out Madison had done this exact same thing to him. He'd funded her entire lifestyle for a year and a half. When he finally said no to something, a $500 vacation, she publicly branded him as financially abusive and tried to ruin his reputation. Marcus, I have screenshots of her admitting she uses men for money. She literally has a group chat called Securing the Bag, where they share tips on finding guys to pay for everything. You're kidding! Dead serious. I have screenshots. He showed me everything. Messages where Madison bragged about never paying for anything. Where she called men walking ATMs. Where she said, and I quote, "If he's not spending at least $500 a month on you, find a new one. Men are replaceable. Your lifestyle isn't." Marcus, I never said anything because I was embarrassed, but seeing you stand up to her, man, I wish I'd done what you did. I asked if he'd be cool with me sharing some of these screenshots. He said, absolutely. That evening, I made my final post. I shared 3 screenshots from Madison's group chat with her friends' names blurred, showing her bragging about using me for money. The worst one was from a week before she called me broke. Madison in the chat, he's starting to push back on expensive dinners. Time to find the next one. This one's only good for about $800 a month now. Her friend, girl, maintain until you find a replacement. Never leave money on the table. Madison, true, I'll keep him around another month. Then bouts. I captioned it. Turns out I wasn't broke. I was just the current ATM. Glad my financial services are no longer required. To anyone else funding someone's lifestyle while being called broke, you deserve better. The response was nuclear. Madison's friends turned on her. Taylor, her roommate, publicly commented, "This explains why you haven't paid rent in 2 months, but have new designer items." We're done. Kelsey unfollowed her and posted, "I've been defending someone who was using all of us. I paid for her drinks last week because she said she was waiting on client payments. I'm sick." The Securing the Bag group chat got leaked in full on Twitter. Turns out there were 12 women in it, all sharing tips on financially exploiting men. The backlash was swift and brutal. 3 of them were fired from their jobs when employers found their posts about using company events to find rich men. Madison tried one last desperate move. She made a tearful video calling me and Marcus incels collaborating to destroy women. She claimed the screenshots were fake, that we were bitter exes creating a harassment campaign. Nobody bought it. The timestamps, the matching profile pictures, the writing style, it was all clearly real. Her Instagram went from 8K followers to 2K in 3 days. She had to make her account private. The social media consulting business completely collapsed. Turns out potential clients don't want to hire someone who became infamous for exploiting people. Last I heard from Taylor, Madison had to move back in with her parents in her hometown. She apparently told them she was taking a break from the toxic city energy. But the truth was, she couldn't afford rent anywhere and had burned every bridge in town. The Venmo request still sitting there unpaid. Now with over 2,000 likes and hundreds of comments, it became a bit of a local meme. People started commenting their own relationship expense breakdowns on it. Someone turned it into a TikTok trend. Show us your unpaid emotional invoices. As for me, I'm good. Great. Actually, that $800 a month I was spending on Madison, it's going into my savings now. Already bought myself the gaming PC I've been putting off because we should save for nice dinners. I've gotten probably 50 messages from guys sharing similar stories. Created a little support group chat called Recovering ATMs, where we share our stories and red flags to watch for. Started dating again last month. Went on a coffee date with a girl named Eliza. When the check came, she immediately said, "Let's split it." I almost cried from joy. We're going on date number 4 this weekend. She suggested a picnic in the park because expensive dinners are overrated. Anyway, Madison unblocked me last week to send one final message. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life over money. I loved you and you humiliated me. You and Marcus are pathetic losers who can't handle a strong woman. Enjoy your boring, cheap life. I replied, I am happy actually. Enjoy your parents' basement. P.S. The Venmo request is still active if you want to settle up. She blocked me again. The best part? My mom called me after seeing everything. Yes, my mom follows me on Instagram. Her response, good for you, honey. Your dad pulled the same thing on a girl before he met me. These women want traditional providing, but with none of the traditional respect. You dodged a bullet. Also, $6,400 in 8 months, you need a budget class. Thanks, Mom. To all the guys out there funding someone else's lifestyle while being called broke or cheap, start keeping receipts. Not for revenge, but for clarity. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And when they publicly humiliate you for having boundaries, well, public accountability works both ways. The Venmo request is still up, by the way. 6,427. I'm keeping it there forever as a monument to audacity. It's my favorite notification. Your request to Madison for 6,427 is still pending. Good luck out there, kings. Watch your wallets. Trust but verify. And never ever let someone make you feel bad for having financial boundaries. Peace out.